Welcome back to another episode of the Longevity Lab. Today we're going to talk about an impressive supplement, a supplement that's been making the headlines over the last few months. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. I personally use it, and I think it is important to talk about it and touch base on it. And that is Urolithin A. Urolithin A is a substance that is acquired actually from natural substances, things like pomegranate, strawberries, certain nuts like walnuts, but to be acquired naturally in our bodies, that process is dependent on the presence of certain gut bacteria. Naturally, there are about 30% of people that they do not carry that bacteria. So unless you do a comprehensive gut health test and a gut map for everybody who walks in through the door, it will be very challenging to reliably know who will benefit from the perspective of urolithin A from eating a big amount of pomegranates and nuts, for example. That's why now we have companies that were able to extract the urolithin A, put them in a capsule, and you can have them in a way independent of your gut bacteria. Another challenging part in that is today dysbiosis is very prevalent, which means that a lot of people have too many bad bacteria and too little good bacteria. And some of that good bacteria, if you had it naturally, could die or the population could be low. That is also a challenging part on why a lot of people do not get sufficient levels of an A despite them eating a lot of the natural substances that contain it. So we knew about urolithin A for about 40 years now, but most recently, in the last few years, we have learned a lot more about the impressive longevity benefits of urolithin A. So starting off with a very important organ that is tied directly to longevity, and that is your muscle, the largest organ in your body. So urolithin A has proven that it could improve muscle endurance. So what is muscle endurance? Muscle endurance is the ability for the muscle to contract over and over before it gets to the fatigue and exhaustion state. The higher the muscle endurance, the better the muscle endurance, the more likelihood that the person is able to preserve the muscle mass. Remember that sarcopenia, which is muscle loss, is a process of aging. As we age, we will naturally lose muscle. We have to be very diligent with resistance training, protein intake, hormonal balance to maintain that muscle mass as much as possible. The higher the muscle mass, the stronger the muscle mass, the better the longevity benefits. And that is not up for discussion. That is something that is a fact. In today's world, with the use of GLP-1 and the race who's going to make the best GLP-1 and the fastest weight loss GLP-1, we're seeing more prevalence of muscle loss and sarcopenia. So sometimes you could try to optimize the protein intake as much as you can, but you will still get a degree of sarcopenia and muscle loss. Many other reasons in the elderly, even if they do not use the GLP-1s, we are seeing muscle loss in a rate that is not optimal for aging. So utilizing urolithin A could be one tool that we can use to work around that process. We also have seen it in younger population too. So digging deep into urolithin A, there are studies that were done on young athletes in their 20s, and these people also did improve their muscle endurance. So the benefit is not solely for the elderly. The other organ that is very important to mention and recognize when it comes to urolithin A is the brain. So urolithin A supplementation crosses the blood-brain barrier, which means it makes it to the brain tissue. And that has shown to improve a lot of neurological functions, cognitive function, protection against dementia and certain neurological diseases. So that was a very impressive benefit as well. Now, how does urolithin A work? Urolithin A gets down to the bottom of the problem, gets down to the mitochondria. It helps induce what we call mitophagy, which is the disposal of diseased and dysfunctional mitochondria, opening room for better, new, healthier mitochondria, which will lead to better energy metabolism, which will reflect eventually on a lot of disease states, a lot of protection, a lot of sarcopenia protection, and muscle preservation. And you can take that process and apply it to all your organs. And I am sure we're going to see a lot more studies in the future about the utilization of urolithin A for a lot of other organs besides the brain and the muscle. Urolithin A is an over-the-counter supplementation. You do not need a prescription for it. Generally speaking, the dose of it is about 1,000 milligrams per day. You can take 500 in the morning, 500 in the afternoon or the evening time. The side effect profile of it is impressively low, and people in the placebo group reported similar side effects to the people in the urolithin A arm. So that makes it very well tolerated and easily to supplement and add to your regimen. The problem with Urolithin A, it is expensive. But I'm sure with time we will be seeing more competition, more companies make it, and I'm sure we're going to see the prices dip down, which will make it accessible to a lot more people. If you like this video and you would like to hear more about longevity hacks, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.